Interpreting the film eternally from a Buddhist perspective, Part 8.
Using upside down views as a mirror.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's podcast. Today, we'll continue our discussion about a profound film, the classic Thai movie, The Eternal. The title may sound romantic, but it's a thorough critique of all upside-down views in the world. We'll delve into every detail of the movie to explore the truth behind Eternal. Some people don't understand the deep meaning behind Sombat's heartbreaking wail. At the beginning of the movie, they don't realize it's his warning to those following the same path he did, a path he now understands the truth about. In Buddhism, there are the four up or down views, seeing impermanence as permanent, suffering as happiness, impurities as purity, and non-self as self. The worldly love and vows that people see as permanent are a classic upside-down view. Sombat initially believed his love for his aunt, Upad, was beautiful and eternal. However, he eventually discovered it was not an eternal good, but an eternal bad. Not true joy, but inescapable suffering. Sombat's wail is like how people saw the Buddha when he renounced his throne and left home. To them, it was incomprehensible. Similarly, after going through everything, Sombat's awakening and regret are seen as madness by worldly people. This is the core message of the film. Genuine clarity and awakening are often at odds with the views of a confused world. Why was Sombat initially able to focus on his studies with an undivided mind? The teacher's explanation reveals the foundation behind this: the 10 virtuous deeds. The Sutra of the 10 Virtuous Deeds says that refraining from sexual misconduct can lead to the fruit of purity of the 6 senses faculties and harmony of the faculties. This means your mind can obey your commands. When you want to study, you study. When you want to work, you work, without being disturbed by distractions. If a person is dragged by lust, their mind becomes disharmonious and uncontrollable, like a wild horse. The master's success in managing his large estate was due to his lack of these distractions. He didn't get sidetracked by women, allowing him to dedicate all his energy to his work. This shows the critical importance of the 10 virtuous deeds. Without this foundation, any practice is like a castle in the air. It cannot succeed. Sombat, with his foundation in the 10 virtuous deeds, was able to maintain his purity in the face of Upad's aggressive advances. His main goal was goodness. One of the most brilliant parts of the movie is the first meeting between the master and Upad. Their conversation, seemingly calm, was actually a turbulent battle of wits, a duel on Mount Hua between two intelligent people. Upad was a worldly social expert. She had fallen from power at the prince's residence, but knew everything about the master's background. In their conversation, she seemed humble while narrating her predicament, but she was actually setting a trap for the master. The master, however, was no ordinary person. He wasn't swayed by her beauty or talent. He judged her from a higher perspective. When Upad said she had quit politics and had nowhere to go, the master didn't immediately take over. Instead, he said he would be her mirror. He praised her for being strong, independent, and fearless. Yet, through her statement about fleeing Bangkok, he had already discerned that she didn't possess these qualities. He was testing her to see how she would respond. Sensing the traps in his words, Upad neither confirmed nor denied them. She skillfully replied, "I haven't looked in a mirror, so I wouldn't know." This seamless response didn't fall into the master's trap and showed her helplessness. The master then followed up, "If you don't have a mirror at home, I will be your mirror." The deeper meaning of this was, I can see all your flaws and strengths. I can help you fix what you lack and build what you don't have. This was the master's true intention as a wealthy estate owner. He valued her talent and wanted to take her back to help his nephew. In this confrontation, the master showed wisdom beyond worldly desires. He wasn't attracted to Upad's beauty or pity for her plight. He was coolly analyzing the value of a talented person and using his wisdom to control the situation. The story reaches its climax when Upad and Sombat meet. At this point, Upad's prior wisdom vanished as she became completely overwhelmed by her desire for Sombat. She abandoned her complex schemes and directly and intensely expressed her feelings to Sombat. When he said his ideal was goodness, she wasn't impressed. She was slightly embarrassed and angered. She realized he was unlike any man she had ever met. His purity made him difficult to approach. Why did the master allow them to be alone, even encouraging Yupat to teach Sombat to dance? This was the master conducting a final test. He wanted to see if Sombat could maintain his goodness in the face of such intense temptation, or if he would be corrupted by the world's impurities. He wanted to know how deep Sombat's foundation was. The butler, watching all this, couldn't understand the master's actions. He thought the master was broad-minded enough to allow someone to be with his woman. The teacher points out that this is the butler's view as a worldly person. He only sees the superficial right and wrong, while the master uses higher wisdom to test and help Sombat, even creating opportunities for Sombat to practice the Buddhist principle of constantly accommodating all sentient beings. Ultimately, Yupat successfully corrupted Sombat through a process of smoking repeated exposure. She showed him erotic books and taught him about the relationships between men and women, causing his mind to waver and his foundation to erode. This proves that even the purest person cannot resist long-term exposure and temptation. Sombat transforms from a pure practitioner into a man trapped by desire, only to awaken an immense pain. He validates his original belief that what he considered good was not eternal or happy, but rather a bitter truth of Buddhism. The film The Eternal is a critique of our attachment to love and all beautiful things in the world. It teaches us that everything in the world is impermanent and that the happiness people pursue is actually suffering. It warns us not to mistake impermanence for permanence or lust for happiness. Otherwise, we'll only end up in endless pain and regret, just like Sombat. That's all for today's show. Thank you for listening. We hope this film inspires you to reflect more deeply on your own perceptions.